Hi, I'm Jerry the Free Spirit.
And I'm the artist known as Africa.png.
I'm also an artist called Sid Sensei. Yeah.
And this is the Comexposed show. Welcome.
Yeah, I know. Intro be wilding, eh? Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Speaking of wild things,
Mm-hmm.
you know how Hollywood has this weird African accent
Oh, yeah.
when they make African Hollywood movies.
Very terrible accent, by the way.
African.
Yeah.
I like that you put air quotes on it because it's really not, it doesn't feel African. It feels like a mash of a bunch of African accents.
I doubt that it's actually a mash of a bunch of
You
African
think so?
accents. Because even if you were to mash it up, it wouldn't sound like that per se.
What would it sound like then?
I know they try and like include the Western African
Exactly.
accent,
Because there's a lot of
but
West
then it's not
Africans in the
necessarily like
West, I think.
on
Yes,
point.
because that Western accent has been influenced by a lot of, what is happening in America. Or just the
But do
American
you also-
culture itself.
Do you also think that because some of these people are originally from West Africa, that it's easier for them
What, to like mimic the accent?
to mimic the accent because it's like home? Imagine if you are like a first generation in America
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
I
you're
mean,
from Zimbabwe,
wait, first generation means what?
like first generation immigrants.
Oh, so like you're the
Immigration.
first Zimbabwean in your
Yes.
family.
You were
to go
born,
to-
yeah, you were
You were born in
your
Zimbabwe,
parents
but then you
moved
migrated
and you
into...
moved.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Or you actually born in America,
Uh-huh.
but you're from Zimbabwe.
Okay. So you've never like been around native Shona speakers.
But you visit them and you have an idea of
Oh,
how
okay,
they
so like
speak.
you're showing that in that kakasala to it. You know,
Yeah,
like it's-
exactly.
Yes.
I mean that makes
Shake
sense,
it
but then
about
at the
it.
same time it has like a base in Shona, so it doesn't then sound too different. Like you can't mistake it for Zulu or for like Xhosa or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know what might be going wrong in Hollywood over there. Maybe they need like a language consultant from Africa
I
to then
think
tell
so.
them, hey, sounds kind of weird. Maybe redo the tape.
Yes, I'm actually curious to know who these what do they call it, dialect coaches are. Where are they from? Because
I don't think they
that's
have
true.
one
Nah,
for...
they would though.
no, they do. They do have dialect
They would
coaches.
for sure have dialect.
Because for
coaches.
everyone to speak that way.
Yeah, it's a decision. Maybe it's not that they can't. Maybe it's that they don't want to as well. It's very possible that they have heard actual Africans speaking the way they speak, like Zimbabwean, South Africans, etc.
And they thought it wasn't attractive.
And they were like, man, we don't have like, because the British, when a British person speaks to another British person, it sounds wild sometimes. Like sometimes the dialect really loses and like it gets lost in
that is
translation. So it might be like a decision rather than a mistake.
Well, that's terrible. Because okay, then we have to ask the question, who's the audience then? It's not Africans, clearly.
It's definitely not Africans. I mean, we can actually go back to Black Panther.
But like my Africans, they find it up Black Panther. We like
No,
it a
that's
lot.
the thing.
I fired it up based on what? Like us. Did you see yourself besides the color of your skin?
Not particularly, not like the stories.
This-
It was like, oh, this is a very cool look at Africa that I've not seen before.
Yes,
Okay.
but
It was
that's-
like visually for me, that's what it was.
yes, visually it was African based, but it wasn't actually meant for us. Understand that Black Panther was meant for the immigrants or the people who were born in America, right? Who don't have that connection to their African.
Also, it's supposed to be like a bridge.
Yes, they're trying to bridge that gap or
Did it
fill that
work?
hole. I think filling the hole is more of a,
Do you feel like it worked?
to an extent, yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised how many Black Americans, would actually quote Black Panther as part of.
Well, like African history.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But then again, let's not go into that conversation
Wow.
because that would involve us including the American education system, and I have no idea how that works. All I know is that it's really bad.
Well, yeah, that
Speaking of including stuff, actually, there are some interesting inclusions from the Comexposed group.
oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a Q&A going for right now that is asking, which film has the worst black scent?
Call it black accent.
I don't know if I'm coining it. I think someone else
that's
has said that
swag,
before. Someone else has said that before, for sure.
Yeah, but that's fact though. Black accent.
So we got Black Panther coming in at 4 votes.
Yeah.
Hotel Rwanda, 0 votes.
Oh.
Last King of Scotland, 0 votes.
Aw.
The Woman King, 0 votes. And Coming to America has 6.
Wow. Yeah, I actually think Coming to America is worse.
Yeah.
I agree.
They did play it up for the comedy, you know?
I guess.
Yeah, but even then, you can do a lot with a proper accent in comedy. I mean, look at Mr. Bones.
But Mr. Bones is an African by African.
Yeah, but like you can use that as reference to what you call it to your films.
I think they might have, but again, it's Eddie Murphy in the 90s, and he definitely would have, like, you know, played up the uninformed, you know, traditional African to then appeal to the to white America and the world at large. Because let's face it, they like making fun of us.
Yeah, I've
They
heard.
enjoy it.
Yeah, and also maybe then maybe he did learn later on because they did a second one that actually Africans don't speak like this. But now, for
You can't go
continuity,
back.
for
You
continuity, you have
can't.
to keep sounding like that.
Yeah. So it's like maybe they're trapped by the decisions. You know, it's
Yeah.
been going for so long, you can't keep it. You can't change it now.
Exactly. And at least in Black Panther, they did actually have some. They were speaking in Xhosa at some point. So at least even if the accent, the African English accent was bad, it was covered up by the fact that they would say "pam belly," something.
But that felt more like an amalgamation, right? like what Gerald said, what Africa said, right? It's more of an amalgamation. That's how it would actually sound, like an amalgamation of African accents.
Oh.
It would sound more like that, right, rather than what you would see in typical African American movies. Because again, it was supposed to represent
The
Africa.
Americans.
No, it was supposed to represent Africa, but it wasn't meant for us per se, right? Yes.
So I have a question.
Yeah. What up?
You guys speak Shona, right? That's your Vinik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if you had to speak, like someone else from another African country, another tribe,
That
And
would be hard, yeah.
it would be hard, right?
It will be especially
Even though
hard.
you grew up here, you know how they speak, you can identify this person is from this place. But for you to do it is hard.
Yeah.
So are we being hard on these people?
I think yes and no. Because in film, a lot of times you've had Americans playing British actors and British people playing Americans, and they do it very well. They commit to the role, they get the language coaches and the dialect instructors and all that stuff to make it make sense.
Yeah.
They haven't seemed to do the same thing over here, which they have the money for it, they have the means, but they haven't actually done it.
So they haven't done their research, maybe?
I don't know. It could be anything. It could be like them not doing research, them not wanting to do research.
They don't care.
You know, them having done research and deciding that
We
the
like
other
this
option
better.
is better. You know, there's all kinds of things that could have gone on in people's heads. You never know.
Yeah.
But I kind of find it funny how you'd actually find the other option better than the previous option when
Which
you've done
one?
research.
Well, like, so...
Like you do the research, right, and actually see how African accents are like and how diverse it is. But then you're like, nah, let's go back to that other one. We like that one more. Maybe for comedic value, sure. But let's say if it's a serious movie.
Maybe it's just easier to.
I doubt, because if we were to bring in that exact,
But there
if we were to
are
bring
a
in
lot.
that reason,
There are a lot of different African accents, guys. If we're entirely
Yeah.
honest, 52 countries and
54
you're saying
actually.
54.
yeah,
What
Yeah.
did we,
Wait,
did,
actually,
did
no,
we
let-
add 2 or
55?
something?
it's 55 because
It's
now there's like
55.
South Sudan and whatnot. After that,
Okay.
whole thing
Yeah.
happened, so.
Okay.
But then I actually thought of something interesting
Mm-hmm.
when you were saying the British accent and whatever. Isn't there also a generic British accent? Because
There is.
Oh, yeah,
speak
there is.
There's
differently.
Cockney and all the
Yeah,
other
they speak
kinds, yeah.
differently over there.
Mm-hmm,
So wouldn't British people be sitting down right now like us and be like, there's no generic British accent.
That's
Stop.
True. That's true.
Same thing with American.
Yeah, because there's the southern accent. There's
Then-
But I
Yeah,
think
I only know
they
one
I
of
think they
each.
represent the Americans well though. When
They do,
when it's
because
a
there's a lot of
southern
American
accent,
films.
they really do it well. When it's a whatever, they do it well. Yeah,
I think again, yeah, it's about research.
it's about research. Because even Russian, I'm not familiar with the different dialects, but
Oh
they
yeah,
all
there
sound
is a
the
generic
same.
Russian accent.
Wait.
They all sound the same.
Yeah.
Dude, so it actually might be the thing Daniel's been saying, the whole thing about it's not for anyone other than the Americans.
Yes.
Right.
So
It's
it's in Hollywood, which is in America, and everyone on the production they've got an American bank account, blah 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 blah. So they're trying to make it for the people around them, and that then means not diving too far into the other dialects because the people you're talking to
they don't really know. Okay,
they won't know.
They won't know the difference. They're like, okay, this is how Russians speak. This is how Africans speak.
There was a interesting TikTok I watched a couple days ago. I think it was like a dude going around saying, "Hey, for $100, name 2 countries that start with Z, and there are only 2."
I remember that one.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
Not Simunda.
Lol.
No, it's
two African countries. No, two countries.
Yeah.
I think.
It's only
Zambia
2 countries.
and
It's
Zimbabwe.
Zambia and Zimbabwe. And
Yeah,
some dude.
and people could name Zimbabwe and nothing else.
Yeah.
There was like one dude who named Zambia as well. They kept coming up with other Z names. You know?
Zambolia. Yeah,
So-
I heard that and I cringed.
Someone said Zimbabwe.
Wow.
You know, so it's just they don't know, and
Yeah.
it's not in their sphere of influence. So they don't care.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Wow, that's interesting.
Zimbabwe.
But there have been instances when they have done it right. Like, for example, Kizazimoto.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
actually.
but then again, you'd realize that Kizazimoto has more or less an African production team there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to be well informed about how an African accent is going to be. Right? It's probably different from, let's say, let me just name a movie from the top of my head, right? Which is The Woman King,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat from the question I asked earlier. People are now actually actively responding. So I said which one has the best black accent, and I mentioned all the other shows, those 5 movies, and someone said all of these suck.
Whoa.
Someone said
Black Panther fans, where you at?
it wasn't great.
Do better, Hollywood.
It
Do
wasn't
better.
great.
This is
As
what
like
we
a-
really feel.
As a study of African dialect, it wasn't great.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
What were you saying?
Oh yes, I was saying
African productions, Kizazimoto.
yes. If I was to name any film right now which actually is based in Africa, right, but it was made in Hollywood, I would probably name
The
I'd-
Woman King.
yeah, The Woman King,
Yeah.
right? If you look at the production team, right, it's more pre-production. If you guys don't know, pre-production is the stuff that they do before they start shooting. Just informing you guys, okay? See you.
Thank you, Seth.
In pre-production, right? You'd see that a lot of the names that are being stated there are mostly American names, right? Or people who have actually researched about it either online, right, without actually putting any, without actually consulting. If you catch my drift, right? Without consulting the people who were involved in that entire story, as well as the country that was involved in that thing, especially the country that knows it well, right?
Okay.
They never did that kind of thing, right? They never actually went there and consulted the guys there.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? We saw it
Where's
online.
the Woman King set? Where is it set?
I'm not sure if I can say it out loud here because I think I'll butcher the name.
I mean, go ahead and try it.
Put name here, but yes.
No, try it.
No, I'm not gonna try. I don't want to humiliate myself. I don't want to
It's an
humiliate
African
myself.
country.
Yes,
East,
it is
West,
an
South, Central.
Yes, no, it's west. Yeah, it's west. It's west. It's west. No,
Give it a go.
no.
Come on.
Spell
no.
it out.
I am going to
Okay,
go
spell
back
it.
to my.
Yeah, spell
I'm
it.
going to go back to my point.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to my point. Okay. See what these guys are doing here. Anyways, the pre-production team did come up with a bunch of good concepts for the African designs, but at the same time, these are generic African designs, chevron motifs and whatnot, right? Because the chevron is everywhere. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
What's the chevron again?
The
The zigzag.
We're okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that is my point. I didn't really go into there because I got sidetracked because of you guys. I hate you guys so much. I had a valid point, and then you guys distracted me. But anyways.
Man, I really needed to know where that place is.
But anyways,
Might travel there.
the
one
point
day.
that I
Exactly.
am going to make here is the pre-production, right, and the production team of Kisazimoto, right, versus the pre-production team and the production team for most, not all of them, but most Hollywood movies, right? They're completely different because, again, we mostly had an African-based production team, right?
Yeah.
They had an American-based one,
Yeah.
even though, other stuff. But yes.
Yeah, no, that's real. It's a good point to say that if you are African, you can act like an African more. You know, in the group, someone said, "Ngawati tori tu know what Africans sound like."
Exactly.
Just hire a Zimbabwean to do the Zimbabwean accent.
Exactly.
No, but that also brings back my point, right? You don't just add in an African person just for the sake of them being there.
No, but if it's an African movie, if it's for Africans, if it's meant to be Africans,
yes.
Why are we using Forrest Whitaker?
No, that is true. The point that I'm trying to make here isn't the fact that if it's for Africa, why we add an American actor? No, my point is if we are going to add an African person, right? Okay, one, they need to be a good actor, but apart from that, right?
Bare minimum, anyone needs to be a good actor to be in film.
Yes, I feel like it's best for us, right, to actually go in depth with who this African person is, so that we know that this accent that they have right now is in this country, rather than to say that this is the.
But when you write the show or movie, you already know this story is set in Rwanda.
For the most part, not
So you do auditions for Rwandese?
No, for the most part, not really. You'd see that in probably Hollywood movies. I mean, I'm including Hollywood movies here because we Africans tend to do things kind of well. Mostly well.
Everything except roads.
Okay, so Hollywood, right?
Hey, no,
right?
as a skater, I'm a noob. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on,
no,
girl.
I feel you.
Hollywood, right? Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
If you have an African person who is, in the United States of America, or who is in the UK or whichever country that they're shooting in, right? I feel like it's best if they don't just say, okay, they come from Africa, right? It's best if they say the country itself as well as the fact that they come from Africa. That way, we can inform both the West to show that it's not just a generic African accent. It's from a specific place, right, with a specific culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
People don't just come from Africa.
Yeah,
Africa's not just a place.
That's
like you've seen all of the tweets on Twitter and all of the things. Oh, I'm in Africa now.
Her motherland.
The motherland.
Do you remember when Rick Ross came to Zim?
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember his memes, the videos he posted on Instagram. I loved those so much.
What was he saying?
Bro, he was in a Lambo truck passing, Mbari Papa, and then DC up.
Yeah.
So there's a Lambo truck, but does a nema kombi,
Coming from the airport.
And he's like, I'm at home. I'm in Zim. I loved that so much, bro. I have it saved on my computer. Like, that is one of my favorite soundbites ever.
Oh yeah, our motherland is an ongoing thing. So yeah, maybe it is for them to feel like they're part of the motherland.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also need to educate them that the different parts of Africa, maybe where you come from isn't necessarily here. Maybe you come from the West, because history does state that most of the people who actually migrated into Africa, migrated into America. I'm putting migrated in quotes. Yes. We all know that history, man. We all know that history.
Tough.
Yeah.
Wish we didn't.
Yeah. Which never happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who migrated into America came from West Africa, East Africa, some parts of South Africa, Southern Africa, mostly Mozambique, South Africa, as well as which other country was there? Should be Namibia as well. But yes.
He really name dropping everywhere.
I know. I'm just like, go deeper, Papa.
Yes. So it's good for them to actually know where their heritage came from, even if it's lost. Right? It's good to just explore those countries that are quote unquote historically accurate, right? So that they know that I came from this area. I should know more about this area, right?
But I mean, I suppose it's a start, really. Wakanda is not a real place, obviously.
I wish it was.
But at least, the excitement that, it's Africa and we're part and we're one. It's a start, and then I think it's on us, really, as Africans to tell our stories and educate, because we can't wait on Hollywood to go to a specific place and whatever. They're just going to make fictional places and have fictional accents and just say this is Africa and never educate, because I don't think that's their intention.
They want to make a spectacle. And I think,
money.
Exactly. And I think that's why it goes this way, because it's a caricature. It's like supposed to be something iconic that you'll remember on your way home from the cinema. You don't remember the real stuff, because that's boring.
Exactly.
But if I talk like this all the time,
exactly,
it's more memorable To some.
And then they have an excuse when people say there's no diversity or inclusion in Hollywood, and they'll be like, we
present
Black
you
Panther
this character
and this one and this one. Why are you guys complaining?
He's black. He's also African. Did you notice by the hat and the way he's dressed? Like this,
no, that's not enough
very
though.
Extra. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you can always make an iconic character using, very niche people in certain African environments, right? I mean, look at us.
But
We have
then
a lot
it's
of
about the money.
Yeah.
If you put a big
bigger
name big name like Viola Davis, it's gonna sell more than.
No, but I'm talking about the character itself, right? We have a bunch of interesting characters in Sim. We live in Zimbabwe. We know the.
No, Zimbabwe is a whole movie, guys.
Yeah, bro. We are a whole movie.
Like we could
man.
have like sequels and sequels of this movie.
And it's not just us. South Africa as well, right? Zambia, our next door neighbors, they have.
We've got so much going on.
Yeah.
So they can literally take all of those, they can take a lot of those characters, right, in different areas, and actually apply it into the Hollywood movies. And you'll be surprised that those guys will be more iconic than the generic African person.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think that's very true.
There's something you said, like Africans were really hyped about Black Panther.
Yeah, at a time, yeah, I think so.
So
and then we watched it. And
yeah.
it dipped.
So I think it's also the same thing where we're like, finally someone who looks like us on
the silver
mainstream.
screen,
Yes, and he's a superhero and whatever. We're excited. Then we watched it and we're disappointed. We're like, we do not relate with any of this. This is not a true representation. So I think now there's a gap
Shout out to
to
Black
fill
Panther fans.
that we need to keep
Pushing content out.
pushing content to hype, like our own content. Yes.
I think that is true.
African superheroes, real ones.
Because the truth of the matter is, I think Hollywood, for lack of a better word, just doesn't care about this narrative that we're pushing.
Yet again.
Exactly. Even though there is a lot of money in like telling African stories and getting them correct, because now you have Africans who are willing to go to the cinema and pay.
Yeah, the money's here.
That's an entirely untapped market. So it's just that they don't care about telling these stories right now. It's because that I think superhero stories from the West are way more popular.
That is true.
And there's no way you're gonna get me to care about Tonde when Iron Man is fighting. It's not the same level of interest in the current scheme of things. So I think maybe in the future, once Africans have been making more things and pushing our product a bit further, then Hollywood will start to take notice, because what's that thing that people say? Build it and they will come. It's like it's about you build the machine first, or you build whatever you're trying to build, and then you bring people, as opposed to like hoping that people will come to an empty space so you can build it.
Well, I think now is the right time for Africans to take their
man.
stand, because Hollywood is suffering.
If you're an African creator, please monopolize
these
on that
superheroes or whatever content they're bringing out it's
gotten stale. They need a new thing.
We're so over it.
They definitely need a new kick.
Again, African creators, rise up.
I've been seeing even just on the Comexposed group, every movie that comes out
Negative
that has been coming out this year. I think one movie has made it like people are just like, yawn. Kizazi Moto is the one that I heard people were hyped for, and they actually watched it and still had good reviews.
Yeah. True.
The Glow and Tyrone is kind of a special case here, because it's not necessarily like a superhero movie.
But it's one in how many movies have been released this year?
Oh, but yeah.
They're just spamming us with bad stuff. They need to
the Glow
stop.
Tyrone wasn't that bad, though.
No, I'm just saying. No,
I'm saying the rest of it.
The rest of the content that they're giving us. So this is an untapped market to have new stories that no one knows. Not repeats, not remakes, not sequels no one asked for.
I want stories about the Chinoi caves, because again, that's a very fun place to be.
Right one.
Yep. We've got so much content. All right, guys. So
just throw it in Sable right at the end for no reason.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Sable,
Shout out Shiny Fire, man.
New Africa. Just saying. I'll write a story. So going forward, what is the resolution?
I think the resolution would be to stop expecting Hollywood to tell our stories for us the way we want them to be told.
Okay.
If we want our things to be told for us, we got to do it ourselves.
Rise up, Africans. Rise up.
Yeah. South Africa's really going to push us far.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In terms of media, South Africa.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I think Africa is going to be we've been running at their heels for a long time because South African video and music, it's so
Next
developed.
level.
Yeah.
Polished.
They've polished their system so well. So
But
now
South Africa's just always been on another
No,
level.
but understand
I don't
that
I don't know
South
how they got so
Africa.
far ahead.
No,
because
but
even back in the day, their content was just always top tier.
yeah, but that's because South Africa kind of has, that kind of backbone where you have a lot of creatives there who want to push that African agenda there.
We have creatives
they're
here too.
everywhere.
Yes.
It's just
Creatives are
there's
everywhere.
something that they have. I think that in their culture they support art quite a lot more.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, and they consume their own content as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Because if we consume their content here, they consume their content there. We don't even understand half the language. We have to read the subtitles.
Yes. But here they are enjoying it, sipping it like a cup of coffee.
Because it's good. No, my thing is, I will consume local content if it's good.
Yeah.
If I'm not just local content, I'll consume content that's good, wherever
Yeah.
it's from.
course.
So I'm not gonna watch. Of course, I'll try and watch because patriotism.
Yeah.
But if I'm halfway through, I'm like,
It's not
this is
good.
stars of my life. I won't get back. I'm not going to watch it. So this is also another chance for us to step up our game if we want to be on the same level as in South Africa before we even get to Hollywood.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want people to watch your things, make cool things.
Make cool
Make
things.
them very cool.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I think that would be one of the requirements.
Yes.
Yeah, just be dope, because maybe that's why Hollywood is overlooking us, because they're like, so who has come out of Zimbabwe?
Guys, there's some African producers who are like so good.
Right.
There's
And there's
so
other
many
short film
good
that I actually watched on YouTube. I will probably try to, get, you guys to watch it. But it's really, really good. It's about 3 minutes. But those 3 minutes are so entertaining.
Oh, wow.
What's it called?
Huh? I forgot the name. That's the thing. But I will send it to you.
Okay. Do you remember Chappie or District 9? Those two
I
South
watched
African films?
Chappie.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that needs to come out.
Yes, that was
Hollywood
authentic.
level,
Yeah,
but in Africa.
in Africa, yeah. Because the people were speaking, those Diantwood people didn't have to change their accent. That was legit. Those
Just
guys.
them on set.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. All right, guys. So, moral of the story is rise up, Africa.
Yes.
Down low.